Can Green Bay finally have a 1,000-yard receiver in 2024? Jordan Love emerged as one of the league's top quarterbacks during the latter part of the 2023 season, despite the Green Bay Packers lacking a definitive number one wide receiver. Instead, the Packers utilized a versatile and effective group of pass catchers. One week, a particular player might dominate, while the next week, another player would take center stage. There has been much discussion regarding Green Bay's receiving core, but what exactly is a WR1? The term originated in fantasy football, but in casual conversation, it refers to the team's primary receiving threat. There isn't a strict numerical definition, but most teams have a main receiving threat. This key player isn't always a wide receiver. For instance, tight end Travis Kelce serves this role for the Kansas City Chiefs. Will a player step up this season to become the Packers' clear-cut WR1? While this is a subjective metric, we can focus on a concrete category: receiving yards. No Packers receiver reached 1,000 yards in 2022 or 2023. Will any of their players surpass this milestone in 2024? If so, who is most likely to stand out? Why use 1,000 yards as a benchmark? It's a nice, round number that typically signifies a team's leading receiver. Not every team has a player who reaches this mark. Sometimes, a player has an outstanding season but falls just short, like Davante Adams in 2016 and 2019 when he had 997 yards. In 2023, 28 players surpassed 1,000 yards. 27 wide receivers in San Francisco 49ers tight end George Kittle. The Philadelphia Eagles, Miami Dolphins, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and 49ers each had 2 players on this list. Adams was the last Packers receiver to achieve 1,000 yards in 2021, his final season with Green Bay, when he amassed 1,553 yards. The last season Green Bay had 2 such receivers was in 2014, during an Aaron Rodgers MVP season, when Jordy Nelson had 1,519 yards, and Randall Cobb had 1,287. In 2016, the Packers came close, with Adams falling 3 yards short of 1,000, while Nelson had 1,257. Love has mostly worked with rookie and second-year receivers, who were still developing and learning Green Bay's offense. He preferred to make the play that was available rather than forcing the ball to a particular target, resulting in a balanced offense that thrived without anyone nearing the 1,000-yard mark. Green Bay's top pass catchers in 2023 were Jaden Reed, 793 yards, Romeo Dew, 674 yards, Dontavian Wicks, 581 yards, Christian Watson, 422 yards, Tucker Kraft, 355 yards, Luke Musgrave, 352 yards, and Aaron Jones, 233 yards. All but Jones are set to return and should play significant roles in the offense. Love is fortunate to have a wealth of talented weapons at his disposal. With 17 games on the schedule and the offense expected to improve, it's reasonable to anticipate that one of these players might surpass 1,000 yards, even if Love continues to distribute the ball evenly. If the offense builds on last season's progress, one of these players could break the 1,000-yard barrier. So who might it be? Christian Watson is a prime candidate because he is a dynamic playmaker when on the field. Even when not the focal point of a play, Watson forces defenses to account for his presence. He likely has the highest potential of any receiver on the team and can become a traditional WR1. However, Watson must remain healthy and consistent to reach this goal. Availability is crucial for hitting the 1,000-yard mark. Due to various soft tissue injuries, Watson has played only 23 out of 34 regular season games, and he was clearly not at full strength in some of those games, moving slower and being less impactful than he could be. A new strength and conditioning staff, and Watson's in-depth medical evaluations during the offseason should help him stay on the field longer. If he can maintain his health, he can elevate the offense and join the elite tier of wide receivers. However, Jayden Reed is also a strong contender, especially since he led the team in receiving yards last season. Smaller receivers are making significant strides in the league each year. While Reed is far from a slot-only player, primary slot receivers have reached the 1,000-yard mark, including Randall Cobb during his time with Green Bay. The Packers can utilize Reed in various ways, such as on jet sweeps and in the backfield, so he could easily exceed 1,000 all-purpose yards. In terms of pure receiving, he's a big play threat with excellent yards after catch (YC) ability. Reed's knack for generating big plays positions him as a likely candidate to lead the team in receiving yards again. Dontayvion Wicks emerged as a significant presence as the 2023 season progressed. He was considered one of Green Bay's best-kept secrets, and now, national audiences are starting to recognize the former fifth-rounder's potential. Wicks already appears to be the team's best route runner, and his YC potential remains largely untapped. Given the opportunity, Wicks might take the biggest year 2 leap of anyone on the team and develop into a complete WR1. As mentioned, only one tight end surpassed 1,000 yards last season, George Kittle. Tight ends like Travis Kelce, 984 yards, Evan Ingram, 963 yards, and T.J. Hawkinson, 960 yards, came close. Because tight ends have dual roles as blockers and receivers, it's generally harder for them to reach 1,000 yards. Therefore, Luke Musgrave faces a challenging path to that milestone, but he could become an elite tight end in his second year and contend for it. Tight end is notoriously difficult to transition to in the NFL. Nonetheless, Musgrave immediately took on the T1 role and performed well, even as a blocker, where he was expected to struggle. Musgrave showed promise before suffering a serious injury. Now fully recovered, he is back in the lineup. He might not play as many snaps per game due to Tucker Kraft's development, but he's poised for a much bigger season. Luck plays a significant role in reaching 1,000 yards. Football is a physically demanding sport, and injuries are inevitable. Head coach Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love will make the most of the talent they have. Green Bay's offense might be unpredictable for fantasy football managers, with different players leading the charge each week. However, despite these factors, the Packers have the potential for multiple players to break out and give the Jordan Love era its first 1,000-yard receiver.